Most people want to achieve their goals, but often find themselves stuck or unsure of where to start. And conventional wisdom on goal setting is often wrong, which leads a lot of people to be frustrated and leads a lot of people to lack of progress towards their goals. And for the people that know me, they know that I'm the guy that hits his goals. I mean, over the last years, guys, I've done some pretty incredible stuff, some pretty crazy stuff that has allowed me to hit my goals. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my exact process on how I set goals and how I reverse engineer them to always hit them. Well, not always, but a majority of the time. I know I ain't Xbox. I ain't PS5. We ain't playing no games, so we're going to hop right into it. The first thing I do is I set a vision for myself, an overarching goal, the theme for my life. And guys, trust me, your future self will thank you for this. And so guys, if you're going to follow my process, you need to think about your life. What is it going to look like in the next 5, 10, 15 years? What kind of legacy are you going to leave behind? What kind of person do you want to be remembered by? These are all the things that you need to think about to help you determine your long-term vision. But guys, I get it. I know it's hard to set a long-term vision for your life, especially when some of you guys, and hell, even me at some points, we're just struggling to get past today. We're struggling to get past Monday. So if you are struggling with determining a vision, an overarching theme for your life, something that can help, and I've mentioned it in previous videos, is setting an anti-vision. My boys, by creating an anti-vision, you're going to have a crystal clear picture on what not to do in your life, and therefore it's going to help you construct your long-term goal or your vision. And when you get that, this will be the overarching theme for how we define our goals going forward. Now, guys, once you've determined your long-term vision, it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. It's time to define our goals. And I get it, guys. When you get to these goals, you're going to have all this excitement because you're going to be looking like, man, I want to accomplish this. I want to accomplish that. I want to accomplish everything. You just want to do everything. And guys, let me tell you from firsthand experience, quality over quantity, especially when it comes to goal setting. The idea of less is more is something that you should take note of here, guys. Rather than creating this long list of goals and then spreading yourself too thin to try to achieve all those goals and not making progress towards any of them, why not just determine which one of your goals is most important for you? Which one of your goals is really going to make the biggest impact on your life, and then focus all your energy and resources on that. But even knowing that, I know choosing your goals is still going to be tough. So what I personally do is something called a goal tournament. And it's pretty simple, guys. All I do is I get out a sheet of paper and I list out all the goals that I have for my life, or that for the immediate future. I list all those goals out. When I did this last time, guys, I had 20 goals that I wanted to accomplish. That's a lot. But that's where the goal tournament comes in handy. And my process is really simple, guys. All I do is once I get all those goals on a sheet of paper, I have them all in a list. I just face them off against each other. 1 versus 2, 3 versus 4, 5 versus 6. And I mark off which one is least important based on the criteria that I'm looking at, guys. And so this way I do this goal tournament, it allows me to really prioritize the goals that are most important to me. So for you guys, once you go through your list the first time and you cross a few out, go through it again. And then go through it again until you have 1 to 4 goals that you want to focus on, and no more than that. 1 to 4. That's it. The next thing I do at this point is I define my yearly goal. And the way I do that is I look at the overarching theme, the vision. Remember, we did this earlier. I look at my vision and then I ask myself, what could I accomplish this year that would help me create meaningful impact towards that goal, or meaningful progress towards that goal? Once I have my yearly goal, from there, what I do is break that yearly goal up into quarterly goals. And now, guys, if you're going to do this, feel free to do all 4 quarters at once. But I typically just do 1 quarter, the quarter that I'm in, because I find that as I'm going through these goals, a lot of shit changes. From there, if you want extra credit, you can break your quarterly goals up into monthly goals. But I'll be honest, I don't always do this. It just depends on the situation. And the way you can get your monthly goals is by asking yourself the same type of question. What could I accomplish this month that's going to make meaningful progress towards my quarterly goal? It's pretty simple. Now, here comes the fun part. You break your quarterly goals up into 2-week goals, or as I like to call them, 2-week targets. Now, guys, your 2-week target should be something that is tangible, something that is specific, and something that is going to make immediate impact in your progress towards your goals. Now, unlike your yearly goal, where I tell you guys you should go bigger, when you're looking at your yearly goal, for your 2-week targets, guys, you need to do something that is realistic. Why? Because your 2-week target is something that we want you to hit. The reason being is when you hit these 2-week goals, when you see yourself accomplishing that, when you see yourself marking that off the to-do list, guys, you gain confidence. You build confidence, you gain momentum, and it builds excitement. And that helps you further progress towards your long-term goals. So here's an example. If one of my yearly goals is get 200K subscribers on YouTube, one of my quarterly goals might be gain 25K followers this quarter. So then I would break that down even further and say my 2-week target is I will get 1,000 subscribers in the next 2 weeks. That's how I would approach it. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, Glass, how am I supposed to do that? Like, if I knew how to get to my goal, then what do I even need this video for? And don't worry, bro, hold your horses. I got you. So in this next stage of my process, what I do is I brainstorm and I define the strategies that I'm going to use to reach my 2-week targets. Let me say that again. I brainstorm, and then I define the strategies which I'm going to use to reach my 2-week targets. Look, choosing the right strategies is not an exact science. And on top of that, just because you choose a strategy does not guarantee it to work. But that's the whole point of doing these 2-week targets, because what it does is it allows us to try a strategy for 2 weeks, analyze the results, and see if this strategy is going to help take us to where we want to go. If not, then you can either do more of the strategy or you can completely replace it altogether. So with that being said, how do I find these strategies? Well, for me personally, I take 1 or 2 days to research. Yes, guys, crazy to think, but I take a little bit of time to think and actually analyze what might be possible. So let's say, for the example of, for me, one of my goals is YouTube, but one of the strategies I chose is posting more YouTube shorts. And that's because I watch a channel called Think Media, and they told me that shorts is one of the upcoming trends for video this year. So what I did was I go look for people that are already doing what I want to do in my space. And I listen to what they have to say. I listen to the strategies that they're using, and I write all those strategies down on a list. And then later we'll go through them. So after I've compiled my list of strategies from the people I've been watching or from gurus or whatever, it's time to do something that you guys should already be familiar with at this point. It's time to do not a goal tournament, but a strategy tournament. So it's the same thing that we just talked about. List all your strategies on one page, face them off against each other, 1 versus 2, 3 versus 4. And go through them and cross one out every time you get there, and repeat till you only get down to 1 to 4 strategies. Me personally, I only do 1 to 3 strategies per goal. That's it. I try those out for my 2-week target. After you've chosen your strategies, guys, the next step is to prioritize your goals. Look, I get it. You're going to have the inclination to think, okay, I can just split all my goals up evenly. I can do it evenly. But to be real with you, as a person who's done it, as a person who's gone after the goals for a long time, you will always find that one of your goals takes priority over the other. When you have a small chunk of time, a little window of time to do something, you'll find out that you just naturally go towards the goal that you think is most important, whether that's subconscious or consciously. So what I'm saying is go ahead and prioritize it. After that, you need to analyze your time and determine how much free time do you actually think that you can devote towards all your goals per week. Meaning, not your job. You probably work your job 8 hours a day. You probably got to eat. You probably got to go to the gym. But from there, what does your free time look like? Do you want to spend half your free time doing social stuff and hanging out with friends? That's cool. That's fine. Mark that out. But you need to look at the free time that you actually do have and tally that up. How many hours do you have per week is what we're trying to come up with here. Then from there, based on how you prioritize your goals, you should break that out into percentages. Meaning, all right, for goal 1 for YouTube, I'm going to spend 50% of my free time doing that. For goal 2, I'm going to spend 25% of my free time doing that. For goal 3, I'm going to spend 15% or whatever. I'm just making up numbers here, but you want to break it out by percentage. And then what you want to do after that is break it out into actual numbers. For example, for my goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers in the next 2 weeks, I will determine that for 4 hours a week, I will work on YouTube. For my goal of getting to 10% body fat, I will dedicate 4 hours to that, or whatever the case may be. You do it for your own specific instance, but you guys get what I'm saying. Actually break this out into numbers. We will use this later, and it's important. Now it's time to define what I like to call your key performance indicators, or in other words, your KPIs. Your KPIs are the strategies that you're going to use to reach your 2-week target. This is what separates the winners from the, well, non-winners. Basically, what we'll be doing is we'll be turning our strategies into solid numbers that can be measured. Let's go back to my YouTube and Shorts example, where I said I was going to post YouTube Shorts over the next couple weeks so that I could hit my 2-week target of 1,000 subscribers. So here's what I would do. Instead of saying I'm going to post whatever, Shorts, this week, I'm going to say, no, I'm going to post 7 shorts over the next 2 weeks. What I did there is I turned my strategy into an actual number that can be measured. The reason for that is it's very hard to analyze and improve something that you can't measure. It's very hard. So that's the reason we got to put some numbers behind these strategies. And I just want to make sure I'm repeating this, guys. For these numbers, please be realistic. I've made the mistake of saying I'm going to do 38 shorts in 2 weeks. And even someone that is productive as me couldn't do it. So with the purpose of this, with the purpose of building momentum in mind, with the purpose of if this strategy does work, we will slowly increase it in our next 2-week sprint. With that in mind, please pick something realistic for the numbers behind your strategy. Also, once you've defined your numbers for your first strategy, make sure to do it for the rest. And just as a reminder, at this point, you should have about 2 to 3 goals, and you should have about 2 to 3 strategies for each goal. And then from there, you should have one KPI or key performance indicator for each strategy. I know that's a little bit confusing, but guys, if you take the time to understand it, I promise you, it's going to be worth it. And also, just from an achievement standpoint and an accountability standpoint, it really helps to write out your KPIs like this, meaning I will do X amount of shorts in the next 2 weeks. If there's just something that happens when you put pen to paper, it's basically you committing subconsciously, I'm going to do this in the next 2 weeks. All right. I know this has been a lot, and I know it's probably been a little bit confusing and probably a little more complex than it needs to be, but I promise you, Kings, we're almost there. We're almost to the point where you can take some action. There's just one more thing to do first. This next phase is where we plan our process, our tasks, and our to-do list. These are going to be the things that you have to do to reach the key performance indicators that you just set. It might be easier if you think about your future tasks like this. Who's going to be doing it? That's you. What are you going to be doing? When are you going to be doing it? And if necessary, where are you going to be doing it? For example, for me, as far as YouTube Shorts go, I say, okay, every Thursday at 6 p.m., I'm going to work on YouTube Shorts for 1.5 hours. That's what I mean by actually putting a stamp on. And now see, we're coming full circle with this. This is why I had you guys prioritize your goals earlier and figure out how much time that you can actually invest in trying to reach these goals. Because I would strongly recommend that you guys also put your task actually on a calendar. You got to put them on a calendar. Why? Why would I do that? Well, from a time management standpoint, it gives you a visual representation of your day, but it also prevents you from overbooking yourself. From a goal standpoint, it forces you to prioritize what's important. All of us only get 24 hours in a day. So if you get to your schedule and you see that it's already full, or you see that there's only one slot left, which one of your goals is going to go there? Guys, getting it on a calendar is really going to help. Also, putting it on a calendar drastically increases accountability. Guys, I already told you, but there's something that happens when you write down, hey, I'm going to do this over the next 2 weeks. But then something further even happens when you write that down and then you go and put that time slot on your calendar, the calendar that you look at every day. And every week you get there, you'll see, okay, this is for that time slot. And something happens when you commit, write those things down, put it on your calendar. It just gives you a much better chance of actually following through and doing whatever it is you said you was going to do. So if we Gucci on that, y'all go ahead and block out time on your calendar for your goals based on the percentages you came up with earlier. And if you're anything like me, because I'm really bad at math, I would use percentagecalculator.net. I'll leave the link in the description. Don't worry, it's free. And then guys, the last step I do is I look at my key performance indicators that I came up with and I break them down into the littlest, the most tiny baby steps. And guys, it helps to when you look at that indicator and say, hey, what are some baby steps that I could do to actually reach this indicator? For example, with my KPI of posting 7 shorts in 2 weeks. Well, yeah, that's a great goal to have, but there's a process to get there. For example, I probably will need to look up a few videos on how to create YouTube shorts. I probably will then need to brainstorm some ideas of what I want my shorts to be about. I'll probably go back to some more videos to see, okay, how do I write my script? I'll then create an outline for the script. I'll then do the research for the script. Guys, you get my point. There's a process to you getting to that KPI. So that is where your task and your to-do list come from. And remember, guys, think, what steps do I need to do to make this happen? And keep in mind, baby steps. Now, at the end of this process, I will normally have 10 to 15 to-do items for each of my KPIs, and I will do these to-do items in the calendar block that I set up for myself depending on the goal. See, I'm tying it all together for y'all. Just don't worry, bro. I got you. But there's more to this process. And in one of my upcoming videos, I'm going to tell you guys how I analyze my results after each of my 2-week sprints and then make adjustments so that I can continually make progress towards my goals. But until then, I will leave you with this. My boy, success is not a destination. It is a journey. And now that I've given you guys all the tools to reverse engineer your goals, you can go out and make them happen. You now have the power to create your reality. The only question I have left for you guys is, what are you still doing here? Go put in some action. Go put in some work. Get the fuck out of here.